metaleros, los orcasitos, orca.
Start it.
Wait, is it recording? In Africa, around 10 million years ago, the climate was slowly changing and grasslanding was replacing dense forest covers. To make use of this new environment, the early apes started to spend more time on the ground. They foraged for plants and scavenged the remains of animals, and this encouraged cooperation, communication, and increased intelligence. Some of them also learned to stand upright, enabling them to look over tall grass and leaves, their hands free for other tasks. Gradually, over a period of several million years, the human tribes known as the hominines evolved in this way. Members of the hominines are distinguished from their ape-like ancestor by their bigger brains, walking upright, and different teeth. The first group to show these features were called southern apes and were present from 4 to 1 million years ago. Early birds. The lesser flamingos squinted shallow lake in East Africa at the time of the earliest hominins. Arms and hands. Lucy walked upright, so her hands were freer than those of apes. She did not make tools, but probably used convenient stones for some tasks.
Apple.
Footprints in the ashes. In 1976, the footprints of two South apes, an adult and a child walking side by side were found on this side. They had walked over freshly laid volcanic ash which then hardened. Lucy. In 1974, the oldest, most complete Australopithecine skeleton found so far was excavated, dug up in Ethiopia, East Africa. It was named Lucy after the Beatles' song "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds," which was played in the dig-up camp at the time. 40% of Lucy bones were recovered. Powerful jaw. The southern ape's jaw was more like a human than an ape, but it was far more powerful than ours and held bigger teeth. Oldest skull. The Australopithecine had a rather ape-like head and a low forehead, a large eyebrow ridge, and flat nose and judged jaw. However, were much stronger than those of apes. And their difference, this and a number of other factors makes them closer to humans than apes.
Can you get me one more? What's wrong with you?
Growing brains. Australopithecus' brain at 550 450 cc's in volume, were a little bigger than those of gorillas, but in terms of brain to body ratio, they are midway between apes and humans. Brain size of a robust southern apes, one of the larger species. Modern humans have a brain capacity of around 4,000 cc. The brain into the body radius is high and why are you kicking me? It's fine if you kick me if you want. This eye and the forebrain in the seat of reason is exceptionally large. Oh my god, your feet tickles me. Low, flat forehead. Large brow ridge. The comparisons below between human and gorillas would show how they can tell whether they walk upright on all fours. Human neck. The human head is balanced on the top of the backbone. Gorilla neck. The backbone of a gorilla meets its head at an angle.
Clara, if you only could take one breath,
Yeah.
you died. But I didn't cry. You died. But I didn't cry.
Historic meaning of the two names of the study earlier known
In the mountain where Peter was laying Schofield.
The first Australopithecus in 1954, which will lead to continues to research his father and mother in East Africa. Human and gorilla. The human's back toe sticks out like an angle is used to gasp in human. The big toe is aligned
Oh no, you
with
said
the others. Human
I'll ask Peter to
and
help.
gorilla hips.
Human
and gorilla feet. Human and gorilla hips. Humans have a broad, short pelvis, upright walking. Gorillas have a long, narrow pelvis.
Peter's better and be standing over. You better come or you will be fine. Peter looked up. You know, did she know about the weird tail shoes? Did she? Did she tell the uncle?
Prehistoric food. Although we do not know exactly what the earliest prehistoric people clearly a very close relationship with the animals and plants around them. Although through tens of years of expert, they came to know which animal to hunt, and which plant they could eat, and which plant they could be used to treat illness, and which plant could be used to treat illness. Much of this knowledge has been lost. The prehistoric diet is much more varied than our modern diet. It even includes many plants that we think of as weeds. After people started to grow corn, PP31 nutritious food were still eaten. These foods could only be preserved for a short time by drying or salting,
See?
so
Take steps and
the seasons had a strong effect on what was eaten. Another difference from our diet was there was few sweeteners, except for honey. Dandelion leaves, salad days, although now as weeds, dandelions, these were a regular salad food in prehistoric times. Raisins, juniper berries, almonds. From the woods, woodland yielded an unbeaten supply of bushmeat and berries, which are excellent source of nutrients and can easily be stored. Hazelnuts in particular seem have been stored from the winter, and fruits could be preserved in the form of jams in the newest East. Wheat grains were full of collected
Peter could have
piles
believed
and
this,
then
then rather
cultivated juniper berries made a tasty spice.
the 2 every week of the year. Yeah. And she called Henry to stand by. And you, dear child, what would you like? Henry didn't need to do. She knew what she wanted. The bed she had pictured for Peter's grandmother, and she was going to sleep.
Foods for the family. As far as we know from recent societies, prehistoric hunters gathered benefit from very broad diet, and each member of the family played his or her part. In providing food, the men hunted wild animals such as the stag shown here. The bulk of the food, however, it was often gathered by women. The children this considered of items as plants, eggs, nuts, and perhaps fish. Quilted from at least 1,000 BC. People used spears to catch elements in the rivers of Europe. Herbs. The prehistoric time as how herbs were often gathered to favor food. This is a reconstruction of one ancient method of cooking meat. The meat was wrapped in a piece of leather and secured with a twig. This was put into a pot of water, brought to boiling pointed by dropping in red hot stones which had been heated in a fire. pp. 1617. The more usual method of cooking meat was by putting it on a spit and grilling and roasting it over the glowing embers of a fire. Roasting it was also done in a pit lined with heated stones.
Every time a beautiful zombie.
About 2 million years ago, one Australopithecine species evolved in the other members of the human tribes. Homos, compared with Australopithecines, Homo had a bigger brain, more than human-looking face and hips. Bones that were better adapted both to walking upright and giving birth to babies with large heads. The earliest species of the genus Homo could make tools and was there. Forename Homo habilities, handyman, tool making,
And Clara
involves
invented their
using memory, plans ahead, and working out. Abstract problems. It makes the beginning of our use of culture
needed a sand
to help us adapt to our surroundings and uniquely human. Of communication, to pass knowledge, they seem to have used their tools to cut meat and smash open bones before.
Yeah, and so they did that.
For moral, they may have hunted animals, but it is more likely that they scavenged carcassy bodies of dead animals, and that plants were still their major source of food. There is evidence that they also made small round huts to shelter in. It was more likely that they scavenged carcasses, body of dead animals, and they planted were still their major source of food. There is evidence that they could also make small round huts to shelter in. The earliest buildings in the world. They lived in East Africa. The related groups may have lived in South Africa and Southeast Asia. There is a great difference between using tools and manufacturing them. Chimpanzees may select certain items and change them for use.
A grandfather who lives a simple life
as tools, but humans are only animals too.
Friend Clara
Use one set of tools to make others tools. This pebble tool comes from Olduvai George in Tanzania, East Africa. The Piltdown forgery. Earlier this century, scientists were looking for a missing link between humans and apes between 1912 and 1915. Amateur archaeologist Charles Dawson and later Sir Arthur Smith Woodward of the British Museum found a human skull like an ape jaw in a gravel pit at Piltdown, England, together with bones of extinct animals for years. Piltdown Man was accepted until 1953 when it was shown
at sundown
to be an elaborate forgery. Who carried out the hoax? This is still uncertain.
Chapter 1. How wild Jack
Sir Arthur Smith Woodward of the British Museum. This is how it was thought. The fragments of the skull fitted together. Orangutan skull. Piltdown reconstruction. Eager were scientists to find a missing link that may accept the geniuses of Piltdown.
Yeah.
And man,
But you cannot keep it. I can only borrow
of
for
reconstruction
it
such
for one
as
day.
one was made.
Wait, Daddy.
The Leakey family. The Leakey family has has
I
been
can only borrow it for
involved
1 day.
in research in East Africa
Yeah, and she told me
for nearly 60 years in 1960.
I know that
Years of patience work paid off for
But she
Louis
told profession reading and reading
and
on
their wife Mary when they found and named the first Homo habilis, their son Richard.
What do you mean?
Richard here
Comment 10 more minutes.
there
10 more minutes dan. Many minutes now.
of Ethiopia, finding many
Looking like a rabbit with very long hair dropped down, hitting on the street. Soon the rabbit in the sidewalk headed to the woods with a sign saying a sign of what? Sit down.
this old
Come on,
drawing
get back.
book
Said Annie. She jumped off on the porch.
Finish
Come on.
human life
Annie?
character.
Yeah, finish it.
Okay. What about dinner, Jack said. Dad would be ready soon. Don't worry, Annie. You know we can leave at the treehouse until it's time off. She ran across the yard and pulled her backpack back in 10 minutes. He called to the screen door and he followed Annie as he hurried up. The frosted woods and the sun was setting above the trees. There he is, said Annie. The rabbit was standing on the rails, stunned lights of he saw him too. He took off the jacket and Annie followed the rabbit and he vanished behind the tall tree. I told you, see, said Annie, pointing up at the trees. Morgan Leafay was waving it from the magic
Brain
house.
The
In the
brain of
branches,
a Habilis
of
650
Annie waved back
800 cc
as
was
Jack
larger
was
than
very
that
happy
of
to
the
see an entrance
Australopithecines. This
Come on,
development
she said. Jack and Annie started
happened
from the little
at
bird.
the
They
same
climbed
time
up They followed the
that
strange
the
rabbit here.
Habilis
Me?
gained the ability to make tools, although their brain was still only half the size
is that your
of
friend? Perhaps
a
I
modern
know you.
human
She
brain.
smiled teasingly. I have many odd friends, including us, said Annie. Morgan laughed. That's right. How old are you?
Habiline
How are
brain.
you? Said Jack.
Modern human
I'm
brain.
still having problem with more than said interest with a little time. My words
Size
isn't
and
true,
shape.
but become master librarians
Comparison between
and
Homo habilis
help me.
and modern people
Show
show that the habilines were smaller, about 4 feet 6 inches, 15 meters
The
tall,
tree started to
and
spin.
almost
It
certainly
spun
much
faster and
hairier.
faster. Then everything was still, absolutely still.
Their feet seem
Annie
to
was
have
out
been
of the window.
carefully adapted
So
for
she saw.
upright
time.
walking like our own.
What kind of place is that? Said Annie. I don't know, but we may have checked it recently because we didn't get anything.
Like your room.
Said Annie.
Yo.
No, we cannot
Hold
stay
it up.
back here. I'm not going.
At home
you
with
are going
the
too.
Habilines, this reconstruction of
Fine.
a seemed
You're not
about
going. Then I am
800 million years ago is based on evacuation at Olduvai, George in Tanzania. The camp had been carefully placed near a lake where animals gathered in the foregrounds. A group of habilines are constructing a shelter of branch kept in place by stone. Stone tools are being manufactured. The bones from meat scavenged from carcasses lie scattered about in the background. Other groups is about to kill an old giant African buffalo.
I am. Jack pushed his glasses and read the riddle again. There must be a mistake. Who am I?
Keep going.
I'm
Keep going, good. 2 finish.
The first tool making human Homo habilis
How much weight
made
is that?
simple pebble
Six more than-
tools from various type of rocks. PP 10, 11. Later in Europe, people found that
After
flint.
school, okay?
Me too.
I have to glue my
Was the
nose.
most
What calls that?
suitable
Mine, I
material,
am
and
right.
flint
Jack
tools
pushes
half
his
a
glasses
million
into
years
place and read the
old
riddle
have
again.
been found. Flint's most useful properties. This is the regular fake
It's written
flakes
twice.
comes off when it is chipped. The angle and size of
There must
the
be a
flakes
mistake.
can be controlled
And it's written
by
twice.
careful
But I don't hear any voice. No.
chipping. And so a various of size and shapes can be made like glass.
Only buzzy flies and whistling of the dragon.
Flint takes a very sharp edge which can be resharpened by a further flaking.
Get loud.
When it becomes blunt, flint's widespread and abundant
Player pianos are
Through
popular with
in
the
many
old way. The piano played a
cases.
maliciously.
It
Then someone pumped its
is
floor.
said to be minded from a chalk
With the help of
and which
electricity.
is
Piano played all by itself.
uncures the earliest case. It can be minded from the chalk in which it occurs. The earliest tools were made by removing flakes from a core of flint. Oh, I just heard that crack. The required shape was left. Most hand axes were made in this way. Later on, the flakes themselves were used to make finer tools and weapons like knives and arrowheads, round and used as hammerhead. First in England, this hand axe was about a quarter of a million years old. It comes from Swancombe, one of the oldest sites in England, where the earliest British human skull has been found. Flat striking platform core, the earliest tool. The core itself from the tool. Later, the flakes were used. Flint flakes. Removing flakes. A stone hammer was used to strike a sharp bow along the edge of a rough cut.
Mine too,
Flip.
Annie. Jack grabbed
This removed a large
She
chips
scrambled
from
back
the
into a bell. Just in time.
underside.
Jack heard a voice down there. Bell, he picked up. Wow, man shouted. Jack
1.
heard a-
Shaping the core. The first step in flint working
They were
was to
so
select a
smart,
piece
they
of
could
flint
just
and
crack.
start trimming it in a rough shape.
Hey, go try it. A cowboy yelled. This is the
Removing
ghost
flakes.
Yep.
A stone hammer was used to strike a sharp blow along the edge of the rough cut flint, and this removed a large chip from the underside. 3. Finishing. The axe was trimmed by
Jack sat
striking it along as its edge with a bone hammer.
Here's my page.
How much time do we have left?
29.
1 more minute.
1 more minute. What? We have 29 minutes left.
Subscribe. No, 1 more minute.
Go, nyambah. Nyambah.
Hmm?
Time to eat.
Subscribe. No subscribe.